Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Today, we're going to be replacing the front grille on the 2025 Tacoma. What I've got here is a little bit of a customized insert, if you will, or grille. I painted the letters, you can see there, to color match the truck, and then I put the light bar in that came with the grille. So, what we're going to do is remove the whole front end of the truck. A lot of fasteners, a lot of bolts, push pins, and patience. We're going to start off across the top. I know a lot of people start off on the bottom. We're going to start off across the top. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. When you're messing with wiring or anything like that, of course it's a good idea to disconnect the battery, and we will be dealing with some make sure we get this out of the way here. Always a good idea to disconnect the battery. Next up, we've got several little push pin areas across the front we need to remove. There are 4 right here to separate the air intake area with the or from the grill. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. You just push these down. And that's it. It should pull right off. Be careful you don't lose any of them. And I'm going to set this aside just to make sure I keep it safe and I don't lose any of those fasteners. Now, a good idea is to go ahead and stick something in the intake here just to make sure that you don't drop anything down in there, obviously. So I'm going to put a rag there. Across the front, you want to remove these 2 push pins right here that attach this cowling section, I guess, to the grill. You could go ahead and take the whole thing off, I suppose. I know a lot of people do that. I don't know that that's really necessary. And I don't really want to do anything more than is necessary. So, I'll go ahead and pop these off. Again, I'm being extra careful not to drop anything down inside there. Make sure that they're free, and they are, like so. And I'll set these down here right next to the air cleaner part we took off so I don't lose those. Then we want to disconnect the wires right here. Push and pull, just like so. That's it. That takes all of the connectors and everything off the top except for 2 screws, 10 millimeter. There's one here. There's one here, and there's one here. So there's actually 3 of those that we need to remove. And again, I'll put the hardware over here. That's everything for the top, so that I don't lose anything. Now, one thing I want to mention: these kind of fit over a nub, what we just removed here, and the ones on the sides, I guess, are what are actually going to hold the grill on, and it's enough to hold it on once we remove everything else. So you don't want to pull those up yet. Just leave them the way that they are. Next, we're going to move into the wheel well. We'll start on the passenger side. Okay, next up here in the fender area, you've got 1, 2, 3 right up underneath this lip here, and then there is a 4th if it makes it easier right here. 10 millimeter screws that you can take out. I'm going to try, I think, to just take out the 3. This one, and this one right here. Then you have 2 little kind of push pin type things with little brackets on them, and pay attention as to how they fit onto the fender well or liner, because you're going to be pushing that back a little bit to have access, I think, to release the fenders. A lot of people just pull on these. I'd kind of like to depress the fastener from the back because it has a little holder on it, so that I don't break them. We'll see how that goes. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. And notice, they're not the same length, so pay attention to that. If it matters to you, it matters to me. Let's go ahead and get these clips off. And they do turn. It looks like you're supposed to put a screwdriver in there, right? I'm not sure how that really matters because they don't really do anything. But assuming that the line going up and down is secure, I'm going to turn it and see if that makes any difference at all. I don't believe it will. Yeah, I don't think it does, but nonetheless, it seemed to pull right out of there once I have it turned, so I don't even need the tool. I can just do it by hand. We'll stack those down here as well. Now you want to push the inner liner in. It looks to me like these holders are grabbing onto something here, so probably better off to use a screwdriver for this, actually. And I don't want to break them, so I'm going to be extra gentle with them, but let's grab a screwdriver. That releases the top part of the liner here that you can see. So now what we have to do is go underneath. There are screws down here. I believe there are 3 of them or so. And then a few across the front. So we'll do that next. Under the fender, you have one 10 millimeter here and one 10 millimeter here that you're going to have to remove as well. Now, moving across the front, there's supposed to be a couple of screws that hold this cowling part here on, and I see one here and one here. Those need to be removed as well. Now we got to go back over to the fender area. We're going to try to pull that off without just manhandling it. We'll see. Let's give it a try. Again, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Everybody I've seen do it manhandles it, so well, I'm not really manhandling it. Came off very, very easily. Now, what that's going to do for you, excuse me, is expose this Phillips head screw. Why? I don't know. But there is a Phillips head screw right there that you can see. That needs to be removed. So, we're going to do that by hand, I think. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. It's the same exact thing. We should have a lineup of fasteners just like that when we're done. Okay, I've got all of the hardware lined up, as you can see down here. One thing I do want to note, when you pull the 2 screws off for this front part of the cover here, there's another one right down here that you have to take off as well, and it looks like this. So there was one extra screw that I didn't see before, but now supposedly I can overcome these 2 areas up here on the grill and should be able to pull it right off. Now I'm going to do this myself. Okay, got it off. The trick is the sides you have to pull out like this, away from the truck to break them loose, if you will, and then pull off, straight off. Once you overcome these sides and they just clip in right here, pull them out and then pull the grill straight forward and it comes off. Now, you guys can see what's underneath. In case you're interested what the front end of the Tacoma looks like without a grill or a front end. That's what it looks like. Not too difficult so far. I got to admit, nobody ever said in any of the videos I've watched that you have to pull this part out, the top part, to be able to get it off. So there's a tip for you I have not seen yet. And nothing broke, I hope. Nothing crazy that I'm aware of. So next up, we need to remove the lovely shutter here. And there should be a plug, and actually it's right here. We've already disconnected it. from its juice. So there are 6 silver bolts all the way around the top, and I do have the front facing me for orientation sake, I guess. So I'll go ahead and remove these. They're all 10 millimeters. We'll set this aside and move on to the next part. Okay, this screw is stripped by Toyota, not me. Alright, I got this screw out. What I believe Toyota did is tighten it too tight, and there's a little insert down in here, and the whole insert was spinning, I think. So I took a screwdriver and put it under the edge of the washer on the screw, put some up pressure on it, if you will, to kind of pull it up a little bit, and then the socket was able to grab the threads, I guess, and pulled it off. So I did get it out. No harm, no foul. We'll see how it goes back in. I should be able to just lift this center piece off now, the shutters, and I can. It's not attached to anything. So we're going to set this aside over here, out of the way, so I don't, you know, like step on it or something. And I will put all the hardware with it so that I know it goes with this. Nothing worse than having bolts left or not knowing where they go, right? Now, the next step. All of these silver screws, and there should be 11 of them, that you see around the edge of the grill, need to come out. So, I'm going to remove all of those, and hopefully then we're able to go ahead and move the next step, which is pushing in on these little pins that you can see, much like, well, actually the same as in the 2020, well, the 3rd gens. So let me remove all these screws. Okay, after a lot of finagling, we're talking probably half an hour, I decided to take just the front part of the fascia off, this part here, because the grill is sandwiched in between that and this. So what I'm going to do, or attempt to do, is go ahead and mount the grill and then put the fascia back on. I just think that would be easier to do. Famous last words, we'll see. So let's grab the grill and see if I can't match up all of the slots and lay it in there. Alright, I think that gets the grill in. I hope. Now, probably the difficult part is going to be putting this little fascia piece back on, because it was not fun to get off, I can tell you that much. And we have to figure out where everything goes, and that's going to be interesting, to say the least. I think I've got it oriented correctly. These damn fang things, by the way, if you're going to do the fang mod, now's the time to do it, because you're going to have to do this all over again, and who in the world would want to do that? Not me. Yeah, I think we're all lined up. Everything feels copacetic, I think. So now I'm going to just kind of try to tip it up and maybe get everything in. Now, I want to squeeze everything back together. And up here on these fang things, these little, slots go over the top of these little fang things, and then they kind of plug in from the bottom. And then down here, we also have these little nubs that go in as well. So it's kind of a twofer. So we kind of want to, one of my favorite words, kind of want to force that over the top, like so. Actually, it's not so bad so far. And then you want to manhandle these back in. And it does take a little bit of effort. So don't go nuts, but, you know, You got to do what you got to do. Paying attention down here too, you want to make sure at the same time that you're getting all of the slots filled with the little nubs back here for the grill. Everything looks good. So we got to do this side now. Okay, everything is all sandwiched back together. Perfect, no issues. And I have not broken a thing. I will say, if you're going to do this, don't be scared of all of the stuff that's coming off, because it's rather intuitive how easily it goes back together, or how it's supposed to go back together so far. And this is really the bulk of it, this whole grill part. So I would highly recommend taking off that front fascia down here. Just makes it a lot easier than trying to sandwich it in and scratching everything up. Just go ahead and remove these clips. You do not have to take the whole fang cover, whatever piece over here off. Just the front three here helps to give you a little more clearance, but that's really it. So now it's a matter of putting back in all 11 of these silver screws, and then I'll tighten them down by hand because I don't want to strip anything. So I'll get all those on, and then we'll put the shutter back. Grab all the hardware, grab the shutter. Now I did mark this so I wouldn't mess up and put it on the wrong way. There you go. Fits back in there just like it's supposed to be there, which it is. And one thing I wanted to check is clearance underneath, and that is no issue whatsoever for that light bar. So, of course, this is just a matter of putting these screws back in, and then I think we're ready to put it back on the truck. Man, that looks sharp on there. Oh, I like it. All right, let's see what we got. Try not to bang anything up as I go. Gonna try to put the bottom on first. And I'm sure there's gonna be some finagling going on here. So bear with me. So far so good. We're lining up. Keep a hand on everything. Now, since I pulled these out, I'm assuming I'm going to put it back in just like that. Can't be that easy, can it? And I'm over the latch here. How about this side? Are you going to be as easy, or are you going to cause me difficulty? I can only imagine. Okay. Wow. That's it. Is it as easy to do as the 3rd gen? No, but is it, look at that, doesn't that look great? But is it as horribly difficult as I thought it was going to be? No, not really. So make sure the wires are right. We'll plug all these back in. Wow, I don't know what else there is to do. It's on. Wow, I'm digging it. Okay, now all I have to do is put all the screws back in reverse. Excuse me, in reverse, and then hook up the light, which is going to go through here and into my switch. I may have to add some length to this. I don't know. It looks like it might actually reach okay once I snake it under there. It just has to plug in back here, so may not even have to do anything more with the wiring harness. That's it. I'm going to put it back together on the sides. Again, it's merely reverse of what I did before with my bolts I've got down there and my hardware over here. And that's it. I'll come back on when it's done, and we'll let you guys see the finished product without all the stuff hanging around, right? Okay, it is finished. This, of course, is what was on the truck. You guys can see. By the way, if you're looking to take your emblem off to paint it, these are the 3 prongs you have to push down to pull the front of the emblem off so that you can change the color or paint it. Just a little tip there. This, of course, is what the truck looks like now. I'll do a walk around out in the light so you guys can see it better. I know it's kind of backlit, so you can't see it too well. But we're going to go ahead and do a quick test of the light. There you go. You can see it with the light bar on, rather. I know it's kind of washes out everything, but that's what it looks like in the truck. And of course, it's attached to a switch, which I wired up, which is right there. It's actually this button right here you can see lit up. That is the light bar. I need to move my little tag there. But it works. That's cool. I can dig it. Shut the truck off. We'll turn the light bar off. There you go. Turn the truck off. I'll have to do a test at night or something to see what it looks like. But anyway, that's the mod. It's done. It took me, I would say, probably 3 to 4 hours to do that mod. It's definitely not as daunting as you might think, because again, you do have to remove the front end of the truck. Yeah, I'd give it about probably a 3.5 out of 5, something like that, for difficulty as far as installing it. You just need good directions. Hopefully I gave you that, and a little bit of patience. That's it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to hear. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.